Hello and welcome back to The Pulse. I'm Stewart Campbell. So many of you have probably heard of the famous Mustang Ranch, but probably never actually visited. We went for a behind-the-scenes look at the ranch and caught up with Madam Austin, who told us a bit more about how the ranch is contributing to the local economy. Plus, they had an article in Penthouse magazine, and also she's launching her own range of jewelry. So let's take a look.
The article itself was about me, my life, and the coming, acquiring the Mustang Ranch and bringing it back to life again, because the federal government had seized it at actually twice, and they actually tried to run it once, and the federal government couldn't do it, so they closed it for the last time, and they put it on eBay and sold it. We bought it off eBay. Can you imagine that? Buying a brothel on eBay.
Interesting.
Well, can you imagine a headlines in a newspaper saying, "Feds tried to lure back hookers"? And that's the truth.
Right.
Yeah. So that's how we got it, and that's what the article's about.
Something I wanted to bring up with you was obviously a controversial kind of topic of male prostitution. And is that something that you've been thinking about possibly?
Not really. I'm going to tell you that a woman wants to be wined and dined. She wants to be danced. She wants to be romanced. She wants to be whispered in her ear and told how beautiful she is. Not many women want to just go straight into the room and get down dirty sex. And to be honest, a working girl, in order to make enough money, she has to have sex 10 or 15 times a day. I don't think you guys are quite up to it.
Really?
Sorry.
Let's go into what we were talking about earlier with safety for people coming, in the sense of the checks that you do.
Exactly. The women are tested weekly. They have to be cleared in order to work. Medical clearance comes through on our machine. The men are checked every time before they party. So before they hand the money or the credit card to the lady, she does a physical exam to make sure there's nothing showing visibly. And then there's mandatory condom use. So there's never any chance of any transferal of fluids. We're very, very safe. I only employ women who are interested in what the man needs, not how much he can pay. And I want the man to leave feeling like he's had the time of his life, the fantasy of his life, and that he'll be back to see us again. It's important. It's something that's not going to go away. If you criminalize it, it's still in the shadows. It's still there. But by having it legal in a state, it's allowed to be controlled and regulated, so it's a really kind experience for a man and for the women that work here.
So do you have any further plans for Mustang Ranch?
Oh, I always have more plans. I'm, either gutting and redoing, or I'm thinking about building a restaurant ballroom for women.
Interesting.
Yes, where they can go and be safe and have a gentleman to dance with and to have dinner with. And that's it. Just enjoy the company. Or a gentleman who can take them on a sightseeing tour and just have companionship. We're not talking sex. We're talking about just lonely ladies who want somebody to talk to and make them feel important. That's all. But yeah, that's in my thoughts, let's put it that way. We'll see what happens, besides my line of sensual jewelry.
Actually, while we're here, let's talk about that. Is that correct?
A sensual line. It's a line of jewelry that celebrates the woman's body and her shape, and in the way of beads and pendants, and it's gorgeous. In fact, as I brought the first sample in tonight, and it sold immediately.
Well done.
Yeah.
I bet you're excited with that.
I'm excited, yes, because as a designer, I love the fact that everybody welcomes what I bring in and loves it.
So talking about, obviously, your jewelry, I understand, obviously, from talking, that brought you, obviously, into the industry. So is that what led you to Nevada?
Yes. I worked for a jewelry company. I was a courier or a marketing rep, and I traveled around with $1 million of the gemstones all the time. I was hit by 5 Colombians from the Colombian drug cartel, and they knifed me in the side and they pistol whipped me. They got the entire shipment, and I identified 3 of them and put them behind bars, but the FBI was worried that I would not be safe. So actually I checked into a brothel, because when you come into one, nobody knows who you are. You use a stage name, so I was safe in a brothel, and I could still earn a living because I had lost my job.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what then led you to opening Mustang
You
Ranch?
have to be a working girl in order to be a madam. You have to have laid on your back and sold it, or the girls aren't going to respect you. Yes, and that's what brought me to the Mustang Ranch.
And if there's a message you want to put to people of the local area, you know, customers or for girls to come and work, is there something you'd like to say to people?
People in general, I want them to know that we're not exactly what they think we are, that we're a little different. We're warm-hearted, beautiful, classy ladies who enjoy the company of men, and that the establishment itself is kind and wonderful, and we're not old school. We think in more forward thoughts, and we welcome the gentlemen in, and there's no obligation. If they want to come in and just have a beer and leave, that's fine with us too. We just want them to come in and visit. And I just want everybody to know that it's not your typical brothels, ever.
So that was a very interesting look behind the scenes at Mustang Ranch, and we thank Madam Austin for taking the time to actually talk to us about that. So what are your thoughts on prostitution? You can contact us with those comments on pulsetvonline.com or our Facebook page, which is The Pulse.